grateful to have the opportunity to be with all of you today. So today I'll speak on the topic of don't focus on the cause, focus on the cure. I'll be talking this as a approach to counseling ourselves and counseling others based on primarily an incident from the Mahabharata, and also we'll talk about an incident from the Bhagavatam. So if I'm able to complete this today, we'll complete this today. Otherwise, I may continue this in tomorrow evening's class. Usually, when we are going through our life journey, we often face problems that come unexpectedly and often for no, and sometimes for no reason at all. We're just going along routine of our life, and suddenly somebody gets a diagnosis of some disease, somebody has some job problems, somebody has some relationship issues flare up. So at such times, naturally the question comes up, why did this happen? And then that question often leads to a lot of frustration. Sometimes some people behave in very irrational, unreasonable ways. And then we just get eaten up with resentment. Why is he doing like this? Why is she doing like this? Why are they acting this way? And that trying to understand the cause of that can actually consume us. So in the Mahabharata, after the Kurukshetra war gets over, and all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra are killed, Dhritarashtra is devastated. He has been hearing all this from Sanjay, and on the 18th night, by 18th afternoon actually, the battle ends. When Duryodhana is killed, Dhritarashtra is shattered. He swoons in agony. And Sanjay has been there throughout for a long time. Sanjay departs after helping him come back to consciousness. And after that, when the next morning, Sanjay returns. At that time, Sanjay sees that Dhritarashtra is like a giant tree that has been shorn of all its leaves. It is like trees look very poverty stricken, almost without leaves. So Dhritarashtra has lost all his spirit, all his life. And he says, alas, without my sons, what is the point of living? I will lay down my life now. Let the Pandavas come and see that they, by killing my sons, what plight they have reduced their uncle to. As he starts on his ultimate journey towards the north. Oh, destiny has dealt me an unbearably cruel blow. I cannot tolerate it. I will lay down my life right now. Speaking like this, he starts shedding tears. Agony. At that time, Sanjay, he starts taking the role of an advisor. Although Sanjay is just his assistant who has helped him to understand what has happened at the Kurukshetra war field. Now he takes the role of his advisor. And he says, O king, what is the use of lamenting thus? Your grief, by indulging in it, it will simply grow and worsen. After all, it is you who neglected all good advice given by so many people. And thus, no one is to be blamed for what you have got except you. If a person takes a burning coal and puts it close to his chest and then gives fire to it and then complains that his chest is got burnt, Who can be blamed for that? Like that, the Pandavas, you brought them close. But by angering them by the atrocities that you committed, by angering them especially by dishonoring their wife Draupadi, you put fuel to that fire. And now that fire has scarred you. You are saying that destiny has dealt you a severe blow. O king, it is not destiny who has dealt you the blow, it is you yourself who have dealt the blow. He says, your crooked intelligence is like a sword that has cut yourself. Just like a woodcutter who cuts the branch on which he sits, like that you have caused the destruction of your own dynasty. Now that you have fallen down, whom can you blame? This way, Sanjay's critique is unrelenting. And Dhritarashtra feels chastised by Sanjay's words. At the same time, he feels solaced because he is slowly seeing the wrong that he has done. He says, Sanjay, your words are hurt. They hurt me, but they also illuminate me. Keep speaking. Now Sanjay, after that, he says that actually, for what has already happened, grief does nothing except expand that misery. So, O king, do not indulge in grief. Your sons are dead now. Now it is for you to do your duty. To them by performing their last rites, and to your nephews to whom you neglected so much and whom you grievously hurt by your partiality. And as Sanjay is speaking like this, at that time, Vyasadeva appears over there. When Sanjay informs that Vyasadeva has come, Dhritarashtra gets up and bows down. And he again expresses his heart. All my sons have been killed. What is the point of my life now? At that time, Vyasadeva takes the entirely opposite tack. And he says, O king, you should not blame yourself for what has happened. What has happened is actually the will of destiny. Many years ago, I had gone to the heavens. And while I was in the heavens, I saw that all the gods had assembled there. And they had gone to Vishnu to ask for help. And the help they were asking was that the earth had been ridden over by demons. Many demoniac kings had occupied the positions of many demoniac people, souls had occupied the position of kings in various dynasties on the earth. And they had become so powerful that destroying them was going to be very difficult. So they were asking Vishnu for help. Vishnu said, rest assured, O gods, your purpose will be served through the eldest son of Dhritarashtra. The eldest son of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, will actually be the incarnation of Kali. He will descend to the earth and he will, by his political scheming, unite all the demoniac kings on his side. And he will aggravate, he will infuriate the virtuous Pandavas. When his offenses become unbearable, the consequence of it all will fall on them. There will be a catastrophic battle in which all the demoniac kings of the earth will be destroyed. Oh, Narada, Vyasa says that actually when I heard this, I told this to the Pandavas. And the Pandavas, knowing that this battle would take place, they tried their best to avoid it. Krishna himself tried to avoid it. But it was the will of destiny. And that is why this battle happened. Oh, Dhritarashtra, now do not grieve. Now remember your duty and perform that duty. In this way, you will move onwards. And that burden of guilt that has been crushing Dhritarashtra, it lifts. And then he starts thinking about how he can do his duty thereafter. Now in this case, we may ask, who is right? First Sanjay comes and says that you are to be blamed. And then Dhritarashtra comes and says you are not to be blamed. So what is right over here? See, actually, in Bhakti, what is right is not as important as what has the right effect. Now, things are not just right or wrong or good or bad in isolation. Morality is never absolute. Morality is never categorical. It is contextual. Categorical means this is the category of right and this is the category of wrong. And this is always right and that is always wrong. That is the categorical idea of morality. But morality is actually not categorical. In real life, it is contextual. Contextual means depending on context, the same thing can be right in one context and the same thing can be wrong in another context. Say for example, in some parts of America, there is some racial protests and racial violence going on. Say if there are some rampagers on a rampage and they are chasing after a victim to lynch that victim. And say that person comes to our house and seeks refuge over there. So that person is our friend. And suppose I have taken a resolution that I'll always speak the truth. Now I give my friend a place to hide in my house. But afterwards when these rioters come and is he there in your house? Now what should I say at that time? I say always speak the truth. But here truth will cause the life of a person. So actually what should be spoken at that time is, you don't have to speak. You can say, I don't know where he is. No, he's not here. You have to speak something counterfactual at that time if a higher purpose is to be served. But the Mahabharata consistently demonstrates this point that morality is not categorical, it is contextual. So what is right for one person may actually be not right for another person. And now, in the specific context of the Dhritarashtra, the fact is that Dhritarashtra was a weak king. Dhritarashtra did make wrong choices. Of course, his wrong choice was that he sanctioned the wrong choices of his sons. And he may say that, some people say Dhritarashtra himself was not evil. Dhritarashtra was just a weak person. Yes, that is fine. You can argue that way. But there are times, of course, when he delighted in the fall of the Kauravas, in the fall of the Pandavas also. But even if we say he was a weak king, but still he sanctioned the evil choices of his son. Duryodhana knew that Dhritarashtra was weakened by his attachment to him. And Duryodhana just knew which buttons to press, by which he could make Dhritarashtra dance to his tune. So Dhritarashtra was on the throne, but Duryodhana was in power. Now in India, the previous government that was there, one person was in the chair, another was in power. So something like that. So actually, so it is not that Dhritarashtra is not to be blamed. In fact, Vidura, there's another incident before the Kurukshetra war, when Vidura is fervently urging Dhritarashtra to stop the Duryodhana from his suicidal obstinacy. If Duryodhana continues to antagonize the Pandavas, if Duryodhana refuses to give their share of the kingdom to the Pandavas, if Duryodhana refuses to hear the peace message, that peace proposal that Krishna has brought, then Duryodhana will bring the destruction of his whole dynasty. Now, when Vidura makes an impassioned appeal to the Dhritarashtra like that, Dhritarashtra tries to wiggle a way out by invoking destiny. And he says that, oh Vidura, if it is the will of Almighty Destiny that our dynasty be destroyed, then who am I, a tiny mortal, to stop the will of Almighty Destiny? So at that time, Vidura cuts through the deception of Dhritarashtra and he says a memorable sentence. It's worth memorizing. He says that destiny determines the consequences of our actions, not our actions themselves. Destiny determines the consequences of our actions, not our actions themselves. Now, if a student doesn't study for exam and then the student says, I failed because of destiny, and that was not destiny, that was stupidity, that was lethargy, that was irresponsibility. But sometimes we may study, and even after studying well, somehow maybe we fall sick at the time of exam, we forget at the time of exam, or somehow there is some computational mistake or whatever, and we don't get the marks. Then we can say that is the will of destiny. Destiny determines not our actions themselves, but the consequences of our actions. So, now here, the important point is that if we look at it from a philosophical perspective, it is true that Dhritarashtra was wrong. He did act in seriously wrong ways. And Sanjay was right in severely castigating him for his apathy, for his lethargy, for his weakness. Then Vyasdev, why does he come and say that actually you are not responsible? It was the will of destiny. So here, see, philosophy is actually like medicine. The purpose of medicine is to heal the patient. Similarly, our goal is not just to teach the philosophy. Our goal is to teach the philosophy in a way that people become healed, people become elevated, people feel inspired to take to the path of spiritual healing and spiritual elevation. So initially, when Sanjay first meets Dhritarashtra, at that time, Dhritarashtra is lost in self-pity. Self-pity means, oh, I am so unfortunate, this happened to me, that happened to me, why is life so unfair, why is fate so cruel? So now at this point, when one is wallowing in self-pity like this, at that time, it's important. It's not that life has been unfair to you. You have been unfair to yourself. So one needs to take responsibility. If one is feeling sorry for oneself and blaming others or blaming fate, blaming destiny, at that time the person has to be told. Just by blaming others, you will achieve nothing. You have to take responsibility. You didn't take responsibility earlier, at least take responsibility now. Now act properly. But as Sanjay kept speaking, eventually what happened? Dhritarashtra recognized the colossal blunders that he had committed, the grievous atrocities that he had sanctioned, and he began to feel crushed by feelings of guilt. And at that time, when Vyasadeva came, Vyasadeva told him, actually, don't blame yourself. It was the will of destiny. So that helped him to gain relief. And then he was able to do his subsequent duties, perform the last rites of his sons and whatever else was to be done. So now the point is that even when we talk about destiny, destiny is not fixed. What God determines is the link between choices and consequences. Now, God doesn't determine the future. Krishna's knowledge of the future is like our knowledge of the past. Krishna's knowledge of the future is like our knowledge of the past. How is our knowledge of the past? It is knowledge without intervention. Now I can say, today morning I wanted to wake up early, but I woke 1 hour late. Stupid of me. I know it, but I can't change it. It's knowledge without intervention. So like that, Krishna's knowledge of the future is like that. If we take this choice, this will happen. If we take that choice, that will happen. But Krishna doesn't force us which choice we will take. Krishna gives us free will, and with this free will, He allows us to choose. And depending on our choices, the consequences are fixed. But which choice we make, that Krishna doesn't determine. That is something which we ourselves determine. So, in one sense, we could say that yes, it was the will of destiny that all the kings be destroyed. But those kings could have been destroyed in some other way also. It was not that this terrible war necessarily had to take place. It could have been in a less brutal way also, those kings could have been destroyed. But Dhritarashtra's weakness allowed Duryodhana to act out his evil fantasies. And thus, he became an instrument for the destruction of the demoniac. So here, bringing this back to our life, when we face problems, at that time, once we go into the question of why did this happen? Actually, the why question very rarely has answers. In a philosophical sense, we may say this is happening because of my past bad karma. But we don't really know what that bad karma is. And we don't know how much their bad karma is. We don't know how long that problem is going to go on. What we can focus on is, what can I do now? And even when we talk about past bad karma, the past bad karma, whatever it might be, it's the way it is going to play out in our life is not fixed. So for example, if there is a weather forecast which tells that today there is going to be stormy weather at night. Now this itself is not changeable. If there is going to be stormy weather, there is going to be stormy weather. Now when I came to America about 15 days ago, I came to Alachua and there was this Hurricane Hermine going on over there. So everything was locked out. We were okay, there's no power and we had to stay in the houses. Now, because we knew in advance that this is going to come, so what we did, we didn't go out. We had some programs, we cancelled the programs, so we had the programs a little closer, a little farther away. So, we can't change the storm. But what we can do is, we can minimize its effect on us. That means, if there's going to be a storm, if I'm outside, I'm more vulnerable. If I'm safe home, I'm less vulnerable. So like that, destiny determines what happens to us. But how we respond is up to us. And that's why when things are going wrong, at that time, now we can, with our intelligence, try to find out the cause. But that needn't be our focus. We can use our intelligence to find out, okay, what caused this? Now, if somebody has been smoking constantly and then they get cancer, and they say, oh, it is the will of destiny that I got cancer. Well, it is your smoking which caused it. If you want to avoid it, then stop smoking. But sometimes, some people may not smoke and still they also get cancer. They might get lung cancer or whatever, something which we normally call as smoke. So at that time, we can't know what the cause is. We focus on what is the cure. The philosophy is primarily curative. The whole Bhagavad Gita's mood is not the mood of doing post-mortem. Post-mortem when a person dies, after they cut up the body and try to find out what caused the death. The Bhagavad Gita's mood is not that at all. Actually Arjuna is facing a serious ethical crisis at the start of the Bhagavad Gita. There are two different kinds of crisis. There is a moral crisis and there is an ethical crisis. In moral crisis, there are two choices. One is moral, the other is immoral. This is right and this is wrong. Say, somebody has the opportunity to take a bribe, which will they'll get money, but then they make a substandard product that will hurt others. So at that time, one needs moral strength to resist the immoral choice. Then lure to earn quick money, one has to avoid that. In moral choice, what is right and what is wrong is clear, but it requires inner strength to choose the right thing. But in ethical crisis, there are two choices and both of them are right. Then the question is, which is more right? So at the start of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's crisis was that he had two kinds of dharma. One was his Kula dharma and the other was his Kshatriya dharma. His Kula dharma was that as a member of the Kuru dynasty, I should protect the members of my dynasty. How can I fight against them? So Kula dharma meant that he should avoid fighting. Kshatriya dharma was that those who are aggressors, those who are acting in adharmic ways, they need to be punished. And the Kauravas had repeatedly acted in adharmic ways, so they had to be punished. So his Kula dharma and his Kshatriya dharma, they pulled him in two different directions. And Arjuna had to choose. Arjuna got confused. Chaitas vidma katarno veriyo yadva jayeme yadivano jayeyu yaneva hatvano jijivishamaste avastita prabhuke dhakavashtam. So he says in 2.6 that I don't know whether I should fight and win or whether I should lose or whether I should avoid fighting. I don't know which option is preferable. So at that time, in the whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does not go into causes. He doesn't say, actually, the Kauravas did so many wrongdoing, that's why they are fighting, that's why now you have to fight this war. Whose karma is it because of which now you are in this situation? Arjuna, you have to make this very difficult choice. You have to fight against your elders. So, is this because of your karma? Is it because of their karma? Krishna doesn't go into that analysis at all. Krishna's focus in Bhagavad Gita is on dharma. That's why, if we see, Arjuna asks also a very precise question. When he surrenders to Krishna, his question is not simply should I fight or should I not fight. If that had been his question, then Krishna could have just said fight and the Bhagavad Gita would have been over. There would have been no Bhagavad Gita only. But what does Arjuna ask? Prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta karpanya dosho hata svabhava Prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yashreyasyan nishchitam brohitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanna. 2.7 he says that I am confused, O Krishna, therefore please tell me what is dharma. And to understand this, I become your disciple. I surrender to you, please instruct me. So Arjuna's question, if it be should I just fight or should I not fight, whatever Krishna had spoken, that would not have had much relevance. We would not be discussing it today thousands of years later. We discuss it because Arjuna's question is universal. It is, what is dharma? How do I know what is dharma? And Krishna gives answers at multiple levels in the Bhagavad Gita. And his final answer is, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. He says, Sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all varieties of religion. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Just surrender unto me. There are some Hindus, they can't digest the idea. How can God tell you to give up dharma? So they claim that actually when the Bhagavad Gita was written down again and again over centuries, there's a mistake in writing down. So the word they should be Sarva adharman parityajya. Sarva adharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. They recite the Bhagavad Gita also like that. Adharman. But actually, they don't understand the profundity of the Gita. Now for Arjuna, adharma was not an option at all. Arjuna was a very virtuous person. So for him the question was, among two dharmas which to choose. So therefore what Krishna tells him is, Sarva dharma, you give up all varieties of religion. Now Prabhupada says in a lecture, he uses in America to his early students, many of whom were hippies. He says, actually even the hippies had done Sarva dharma and parityajya. Isn't it? They're giving up their duty to their families, they're giving up their duty to their own future, their career, their nation. They're giving up all duties. But he said, the Gita's message is not Sarvadharman Parityajya. Its essential message is Mam Ekam Sharanam. He said the hippies had done Sarvadharman Parityajya. I taught them how to do Mam Ekam Sharanam. Taught them how to surrender to Krishna. So, now when Krishna says Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, surrender to me, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that Arjuna should not practice in dharma. Because afterwards, what does Arjuna do? Arjuna takes up a weapon and starts fighting. So Krishna tells Arjuna that take that dharma which is anukul for your bhakti. For surrendering to me, whichever dharma is anukul, you accept that dharma. So in this case, for Arjuna, the kula dharma was practical. Now Krishna had to establish the rule of dharma over there, and Arjuna following his kula dharma would have been unfavorable. But Arjuna following Kshatriya dharma was favorable. Therefore, Arjuna takes up Kshatriya dharma, but his focus is on serving Krishna. So, when things go wrong in our life, if we ask the question why, the why question is very disinformed. There are times when we can have the answer to the why question, but many times when the why question comes up, the answer is just, there's no answerable. So instead of the why question, we can ask the how question. How question means, how can I serve now? And Prabhupada was asked, what is the best prayer that we can offer to him? Offer to Krishna. Prabhupada said, pray to Krishna for the strength to serve him. Krishna, whatever happens, please give me the strength to serve you. That means, Krishna, how can I serve you? So if we have that prayerful mood, how can I serve you? Then, you see, when we are asking, why did this happen, why this happened, why this happened, often we don't get answers. We just see closed door. Oh, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. There's no explanation. But how can I serve? Now, whatever situation we are in, we can always find some way to serve. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do in the future, but right now I can do this one thing, I can do this one thing, I can do this one thing. And like that, we can move on in our life. Our faith is not always like the sun that rises in the sky and illumines everything. In terms of philosophical understanding of the overall purpose of life, it is like that. But in terms of practical application, faith often acts like a torchlight. If I have a small torchlight, I cannot see far away with the torchlight. But I can, if it's dark and I'm going on a path, I can see one step ahead of me. And if I have the torchlight, I take one step ahead, then the torchlight also moves ahead with me. And I can see one step further. And I can see one step further. So like that, if we ask this question, how can I serve now? That Krishna is still in control, Krishna is still God, Krishna still cares for me, Krishna still will protect me. How can I serve Krishna now? Then we can always find one step that I can do. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. And as we keep taking one step forward, then the next step becomes, maybe let me do this. Maybe let me do this. And like that, we keep moving forward. And eventually, we move ahead in the path. And the darkness that has come because of adversities, that dissipates. And we move onwards. Prabhupada says in one, I'll conclude with this point. Prabhupada says in one purport that a devotee may be perplexed, but a devotee is never discouraged. Perplexed means, I don't know what to do. Discouraged means, I don't feel like doing anything. So sometimes life may give us such adversities that we just, why is this happening? Or we may just not have the answer. And we perplex, should I do this? Should I do this? Or should I do this? We just not know at that time. So at that time, if we turn our vision from the why question to the how question. Why is this happening? Just fate is so cruel. Life is always unfair to me. We feel sorry for ourselves, we become disempowered, we become discouraged. But okay, how can I serve now? As soon as we cultivate that question, Krishna, how can I serve now? What should I do now? Please guide me. If we have that attitude, then Krishna will guide. It's not that suddenly a full path will become clear, but one step becomes clear, and we move onwards. Srila Prabhupada did that actually. when he was trying to preach in India, it was not that things were clear for him. He tried one thing, it didn't work. He tried another thing. He tried to initially expand his own business so that he could support his spiritual master's mission. And that didn't work out. He tried to start back to Godhead. Worked very hard to print and distribute back to Godhead, but people were not interested. Then he tried to start League of Devotees, in Jhansi, where he wanted that to be the headquarters of a big organization that would go all over the country and all over the world. But then there was a political clique against him, and he was evicted from the very building that was supposed to be his headquarters. He tried to work with his god brothers, assisting them in their publications, but they had a very narrow vision and they didn't really want to expand preaching, and they wouldn't let him also expand preaching. Then he tried going to different Hindu houses and doing talks over there to gain support. But again, not much happened. He tried to distribute his books. He wrote his Bhagavatam. He gave it to influential people. They applauded it, but nothing more happened. Then he came to America. On the way, he got a heart attack. He finally came to America. His typewriter was stolen away when he was staying in one place. He went to another place. There, a young man seemed to be becoming his disciple, and he turned and attacked him. And Prabhupada had to flee, practically for his life. Now, through it all, what was Prabhupada doing? When Prabhupada came to America at that time, he said that Ache kichu karya tabe ei anumane, nahe ke no anibena ei ugrastane. He says, Krishna, no, there must be some purpose why you have brought me here. Ache kichu karya tabe. There must be some purpose why you have brought me here. Nahe ke no anibena ei ugrastane. Otherwise, would you have brought me to this terrible place? I don't think any other Indian on coming to America has said, this is a terrible place. That is Prabhupada's spiritual vision. From the spiritual perspective, he felt this was a spiritually bankrupt place. So he felt it's a terrible place. But what is Prabhupada's emphasis? Anuman. Anuman means, you may say guessing. It's not guessing, it's actually inferring. So what is Prabhupada inferring? Krishna, you must have some plan. That's why you have brought me here. The same way, Krishna, you must have some plan. Whatever is happening in my life, there is some plan. I don't know what it is right now, but Nachao, Prabhu, Nachao se mate. Kashtera putali jatha, Nachao se mate. Prabhupada, Krishna, make me dance, O Krishna. Just as a puppet master makes a puppet dance, similarly make me dance. It is actually a prayer for service. Similarly, if we develop that mood, then you find one step forward, and eventually the darkness of the adversity will dissipate, and the light of truth, the light of wisdom, the light of happiness will shine forth in our life. I'll summarize. So I started by talking about that don't focus on the cause, focus on the cure. That was the topic. So explained how when adversities come in our life, sometimes we just are not able to figure out why they have happened. And then I took an incident from the Mahabharata where Dhritarashtra was devastated after the death of his sons. And Sanjay came and held him responsible, saying, because of your own foolish choices, you have your intelligence, perverted intelligence, in the sword that has cut you. He says, you have put the burning coal in your own cloak, and now it has burned you. You have no one but yourself to blame. Don't blame destiny. And then Vyasa comes and tells him, actually it was ordained by destiny that they all should be killed. And therefore don't blame yourself. So we discuss what is right is not as important as what has the right effect. So initially when Dhritarashtra was wallowing in self-pity, just feeling sorry for himself, Sanjay spoke in a way that would make him take responsibility. At least now take responsibility and act properly. And when he started feeling too burdened by guilt, at that time Vyasa speaks and tells him that actually it was the will of destiny. He said, don't be burdened by guilt now. Now focus on doing what is right. So objectively speaking, we discussed that Dhritarashtra was a weak king and he didn't make wrong choices, and his main wrong choice was that he sanctioned the evil of Duryodhana. So he was definitely responsible. Destiny determines, does anyone remember? Destiny determines what and it doesn't determine what? Destiny determines Yeah, destiny determines the consequences of our actions, not our actions themselves. So Dhritarashtra was responsible. But the point is, what now? What should he be doing now? He should not feel crushed by his wrong choices, rather, he should move on. And similarly, in our own lives, whether we are dealing with others or whether we are guiding others or we are trying to strengthen ourselves, our focus should always be on what now? How can I serve Krishna now? Not why has this happened? Why has this happened? Now the explanation that is because of past karma, that doesn't soothe the heart. That doesn't necessarily give practical guidance. So what happens to us may be destiny, but how we respond is up to us. So storms may come by destiny, but whether we are inside or outside at that time, that we have a significant choice in that. So we focus on what can I do now? How can I serve now? The spiritual knowledge can sometimes act like the sun which illumines everything and helps us to make sense of life. But other times, when the clouds of confusion cover the sky of our heart, at that time spiritual knowledge may not seem to illuminate. So at that time it can just be like a torchlight. It shows one step ahead. Okay, what can I do now? How can I serve Krishna now? Let me take one step ahead, the next step will become clear. Prabhupada says the devotee may be perplexed, but a devotee is never discouraged. Prabhupada demonstrated this in his own life when many of his plans seemed to go awry, disastrously wrong. But Prabhupada persevered. And eventually Krishna helped him do something extraordinary, unprecedented practically in world history in terms of how he preached and shared Krishna Bhakti all over the world in the last 10, 11 years of his life. Similarly, if we focus on just taking one step forward in ourselves, not worrying too much. Why? Why is this person acting like this? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Okay, what can I do now? How can I serve now? By that, if you just keep taking one step forward, eventually the darkness caused by the clouds of adversity will dissipate, and the sun of truth and happiness will shine forth in our life. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, thank you very much for a wonderful lecture. My question was, you mentioned that scriptures are for the most part curative.